You're listening to Three Kitchens podcast, hosted by Erin Walker and Heather Dyer.
We're home cooks, sharing our kitchen adventures with you. Let's all get inspired, cook better, and eat great food.
Either the buns in the pan or the fold in a pan for either of these flavors.
Well, hello and welcome to today's episode of Three Kitchens podcast. My name is Erin Walker, and we are co-hosting this episode together with two recipes in the same category with Heather Dyer.
That's right. Hello. We're talking pull-apart breads, and we have a sweet and a savory for you.
Yeah, it's kind of funny how we both had our own version of a pull-apart that we were interested in, and we thought, you know what, why not just tag these two together and do a first half and a second half and round it all up into one episode.
So you can make, you can make them both. Hopefully you'll want to. I think you will.
I think so, yeah.
Okay, what should we start with? Sweet or savory?
Go for it. Take us away.
I made a pumpkin pull-apart bread, which you make in a loaf pan. Are you picturing it? Got this in your mind? Okay. That's a distinction because the savory pull-apart bread that Erin made looks different. It has a completely different method. These are very different pull-apart breads. Okay. So the nice thing with this recipe is that the pumpkin puree is in both the dough itself and the filling that you put between the layers of the dough. And think of it, when you think of filling, think of it kind of like when you make cinnamon buns and you make the cinnamon sugar butter that you put between the, like, and you roll it up.
Right,
it's like that for the filling. Yeah. The dough is pretty easy to put together in your stand mixer with your dough hook attachment. Put all your ingredients in and let it go on medium-low for about 4 minutes to knead it all together. You have instant yeast, brown sugar, whole milk that's warmed to 110 degrees Fahrenheit, pumpkin puree, bread flour or all-purpose, an egg, cinnamon, salt, and unsalted butter softened. Of course, check the recipe for all the measurements because we're fitting two recipes into one episode. I'm going to kind of keep it simple and talk more about the method. So you're going to, of course, I just said you run that for about 4 minutes and then put it into a lightly greased bowl, cover with, a tea towel or plastic wrap, and allow it to rise in a warm place for about 45 minutes. So this is one of those ones you're going to prepare, set aside. I like, because it has been kind of colder here. When it's cold in my kitchen, I often just put the light bulb on inside my oven and put dough inside there. It's warm enough.
Yeah.
Because I don't have a warming drawer or that kind of thing.
No, sometimes I put my oven on like the warm and hold.
Oh, I don't have that.
Or even just like heat my oven up, like whatever, just press start, like wait a minute and then turn it off and it'll keep itself warm inside.
Yeah.
And I'll put my my doughs in there to rise as well.
Good tips.
Or in front of the heating register if your heat's running. Also a hot spot in my house.
Okay. I've never done that one. But I have pets too, so I don't want to just leave things in random places in case they get curious and stick a nose in there. I don't think they'd want to eat it, but they might like stick a paw or a nose to see what's under that tea towel.
Yeah, it might not be disturbance free.
Yeah. So while that's sitting, doing its thing, you're going to fit your stand mixer with the paddle attachment this time, or use a hand mixer and mix up the filling ingredients, which is softened unsalted butter, pumpkin puree, brown sugar, cinnamon, ginger, nutmeg, cloves, and allspice. Or pumpkin spice. If you have a mix that you like, why not just use that? I had some last pumpkin spice season. So like last fall, I had done a pretty big batch of homemade pumpkin spice mix that I just used up. So
perfect.
You can make that and just stash it away and pull that out when you need it. Okay, you're going to beat that until the mixture is well combined. Set it aside. And when your dough is done rising, punch it down and transfer to a lightly floured surface and divide it into roughly 20 equal pieces. I
Okay.
don't think you need to go so far as to weigh them or, it doesn't need to be precise. Roll each into a circle about 4 inches in diameter. So you have your
Okay.
nice circle of dough. Spread the filling over that circle of dough. Not, I don't know how much. You just want a layer of it to the edges.
Right.
And then, because it's a circle, you're going to fold it in half so you have like a semicircle, I thought of it
Oh.
like a taco. Fold it
Oh,
in half,
totally.
okay? And place it in your greased loaf pan,
Okay.
curved side up. So you're going to set it in as though it were a taco and you don't want your fillings to come out. You're going to set it in like that. And you're going to continue with all the portions of dough, roll them into circles, spread, fold, place in your pan. So your pan now has
Okay.
kind
You
of
got a
like,
little taco pan.
yeah, okay. And we're going to cover it again and allow it to rise one more time for about 20 minutes while you're preheating your oven to 350 degrees Fahrenheit. So if you need to use your oven as your place to stash your dough to rise, you'll have to wait until it's risen before you turn it to 350,
Mm-hmm.
obviously. And then bake for 25 to 30 minutes or until golden brown.
Okay.
Allow it to cool in the pan, well, till it cools. I don't know. I honestly never think about how long. I just like set it aside and then come back later and it's cooled down.
Right.
And then you make a little bit of maple icing to drizzle over the top with some powdered sugar, whole milk, and maple syrup. Drizzle that over. And so the reason this is a pull apart bread is because all those pieces that you've lined up kind of pull off,
Mm-hmm.
theoretically.
Yeah.
Hopefully they do. And if they don't, cut them if you need to, I guess. But it kind of pulls apart and you get these nice like slices of pumpkin bread.
Yeah, it's like pre-topped bread when you slice it off of there.
Yeah, and there you go. It's fairly straightforward. I thought it was very easy.
Mm-hmm.
And it was a nice way to use up some pumpkin puree that I had in my freezer.
Yeah, did you get pumpkins from your sister again?
I did. I got two.
Nice.
I've processed one of them and
Okay.
I went to a friend's house and took it along and we made pumpkin pie.
Very good.
And I made some pumpkin pancakes
Nice.
for my son and his buddy who was here yesterday. And
Nice.
I still have some and I have one more pumpkin to roast and puree still.
I liked this. I thought it was a great idea of how to make a pull apart bread like this. I've seen this a few times. It's different than a monkey bread, which is more
Hmm.
like pieces of dough all
Like
piled in the.
balls. Monkey bread's kind of
Yeah.
like little buns.
Yeah, and they're all like stacked and piled in a pan and there's stuff in between there. But I liked this idea of the taco layers, like you said. It's a good way of describing it.
Hmm.
I almost feel like the center wasn't fully cooked, and I don't know if it wasn't just because, like cinnamon buns are gooey in the center and stuff like that, but it almost seemed like it needed more space.
I felt like that too.
Right?
And that it didn't
Yeah.
puff up, like it didn't rise as much. Wasn't as fluffy as
Mm.
I expected it was going to be. It did seem a bit more dense. And I felt like, and I think I even said to you, I think I should have put it in a bigger pan. Like I
Yeah.
think the loaf pan was almost like too condensed. And
Hmm.
maybe, yeah, I think you're right. It should have been maybe a little cake pan. Give it a bit more room to
Oh.
like move and
Yeah, absolutely. But otherwise, like the flavors in this were really good. And I didn't realize the icing was maple. Mm,
mm,
delicious.
always a win.
Maple and pumpkin for the win.
Hmm.
Yeah, I thought this was really good.
I liked it. I haven't been in a hurry to make it again, but I think I just need to adjust
Mm,
the pan,
I think
probably.
so. And I think, who knows, maybe it'll be enough for 2 pans worth of bread, you
Maybe
know?
that's the other thing. If you have two smaller loaf or medium-sized loaf
Yeah,
pans, put it into two. Yeah.
make it into two.
Hmm.
Cool.
Okay. Well, we'll take a quick little break and then we'll be back with savory pull-apart bread.
Hey listener, have you visited our website? You'll find our entire catalog of episodes. Can you believe there are more than 170 of them, including the Speakeasy cocktail series and almost all of our recipes?
It's easy to find. Just type in www.threekitchenspodcast.com or check the show notes for a link. Now let's get back to the show.
For my pull apart bread, I made some pull apart buns that were garlic rolls. And so For making the dough, you want to activate a package of dry yeast. I have a jar of yeast, and so my jar tells me that's 2¼ teaspoons. So most of the time that conversion's on your jar, but if it's not, you can Google that stuff.
Hmm.
Activate your yeast in a cup of water with sugar to wake it up and get it hungry, I guess.
Well, and that's how you also find out whether it's still good
Yes.
or if it's dead.
This takes about 10-15 minutes, depending on the temperature of your water, the temperature of your house, blah, 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 blah. Yeah, if it doesn't start bubbling and frothing, and get new yeast and try
Hmm.
again. So then while your yeast is activating, in a saucepan, you're going to add your milk and butter, and you just want to cut your butter up into smaller-ish pieces, and then on super low heat, just heat up your milk with your butter in it.
Hmm.
You want your butter to be mostly melted, but you need your milk to be like touch and hold your finger in temperature. You don't want it too hot, or that's going to kill your yeast when you put everything together.
It's so fussy.
It is a little bit like fussy.
I mean, yeast, not this recipe in particular, but like yeast itself can be so fussy. It's like get the temperature just
Yeah.
right.
So in your mixing bowl, you put your milk and butter that you've warmed nicely. You're going to put in eggs that are lightly beaten. And so if your milk's not too
Mm.
hot to cook your egg, and you add in your eggs and you mix it together a little bit, that'll kind of bring the temperature down, and then you're kind of good to go to add in your yeast and salt. So you've got all your wet ingredients in there. Put on your dough hook, start up your mixer, and then you're just going to start adding in your flour and letting it mix and combine together until it all comes together in a nice sticky dough. Let it knead for about 4 to 5 minutes until it's nice and smooth, and then transfer it into a oiled bowl, cover it with a tea towel, let it sit and rise. It was a nice sunny day when I made this, so I just popped it in the sun by my
Mm.
window, and it rose really quick. It says for about an hour, hour and a half. Is that what it said? Yeah, allow it to rise for an hour and a half or doubled in size. This was like 45 minutes, and it was poof. So
Oh,
it did really
nice.
good.
I love when that actually is visibly
Oh,
doubled in
yeah.
size. There are times when I'm like, is this double? Did
Hmm.
I really take note when I put it in the bowl of like how big it was?
I
Like,
hate the waiting game of
yeah.
rising. Like it's almost like the watch pot never boils, the watch dough never rises.
Yeah, and it makes me worry that I'm not doing it right if I
Oh,
like did I wait long enough? Is it doubled enough? Did it
yeah.
like
It's a little bit, trusting in the process.
yeah. Like
Sometimes
was
it's
my
not fun to do.
the sunbeam warm enough? Should I put it in the oven? Like I don't know
Yeah.
why I find it a little bit stressful making bread. But I know you make bread all the time, so
But I find it stressful as well. So I'm
mm,
always like watching it, kind of tapping together, praying that it all works out.
yeah, don't sit down.
Yeah, don't sit down, don't rest.
Yeah.
So then once it's doubled in size, punch it down. And then this recipe recommends cut it into 12 even sections. Thank you, mouth, for cooperating. That was about 90 gram per dough ball. And that's
Okay.
a big bun, generally speaking. I would say that's like almost half a cup of dough. They're big buns.
Mm.
So then once you've got your 12 even sections done, you're going to grab a cast iron pan. And I used my 9-inch cast iron pan. Does that sound like a good
I
estimate? I
think
haven't
so.
actually measured that one, but yeah.
It's probably 9 or 10. It's
Yeah.
definitely smaller than like the 12
It's not
inch
a
one.
big cast iron pan, but it's
Mhm.
not a super small one. It's kind of, your typical, yeah, 9-10 inch skillet.
Yeah.
Your 12 pieces, you're going to form into a ball, just kind of tucking the dough around. It'll get nice and firm and taut, like the dough will be stretched. And then you just kind of pinch the bottoms and then pop it in your pan. Get those all in there and let them rise again for another hour or so. And then heat up your oven to 375. Brush with just plain butter over top before you stick it in the oven. And then they bake for 20 to 25 minutes, rotating it in your oven just in case your oven is uneven in its heating. That way the browning will be a little more even. And while it's baking, you're going to make the garlic herb butter that you're going to put on top right after they come out of the oven.
Right out of that onion.
The words are not cooperating. Okay, so I have a little cast iron pan, or you can just use a little saucepan. You're gonna melt butter and you're gonna add in minced garlic and parsley and just let it bubble and sit in that butter. I don't think you want to go as far as browning the butter, but just kind of cook it a little bit, cook a little bit of the sharpness out of your garlic.
Mm-hmm.
And then once your buns come out of the oven, you're going to use a little spatula or a spoon to just put that garlic and herb butter over top. Then you're going to grab some Parmesan cheese and grate it freshly on top there too. And then pop them out of your cast iron pan and serve and enjoy. This made big buns. They were kind of overflowing from that cast iron pan, and that made it messy in my oven when they were baking because they were brushed with butter. So I would say if you're going to make the 12 buns in the 9-inch cast iron pan, put something underneath so it doesn't drip and you don't have to deal with all the grease that but what I did do just yesterday for Thanksgiving here is I made this same recipe, but instead I divided it into 24 buns. So then you're getting like a 40 to 50 gram ball of dough, which is about a quarter of a cup, which to me is more of like a dinner bun size in my 2 pans again. I made one with the garlic butter and I made one just plain. And so I would say you can make 12 or 24 buns with this recipe, depending on what size you want them to be, how many you want to make. It's kind of dealer's choice.
They were really large.
Big.
I know. I was like, oh my word, look at these giant buns.
I know. I had to bring you the skillet of them over, and I was just like, I was in my kitchen. I was like, what do I do? What do I transfer this to? I was like, I'm just bringing her the skillet. I got nothing else. I got no ideas.
It also looks really nice to present, like to put on the table in this skillet.
Yes.
I think it looks really beautiful. And then everybody can just kind of grab their bun out of there. Little large for me as well. And I love a dinner roll, especially a fresh out of the oven, warm roll with some butter on it. Love it. I feel like I could eat like all of them, but even for me, that felt a little large. So I like the idea of doubling it. Plus goes further. You can feed more people with it. These remind me of when I make sliders for the kids for their lunches, because they love when you brush even olive oil with some seasoning on top and put them in the oven till everything kind of melts. So these buns would be like delicious as a slider, like just cut and fill them up with whatever you love in a sandwich, because they're just that crispy, garlicky Parmesan on the top. So delicious. I loved it.
I haven't tried it yet, but I'd be tempted to put a little garlic powder in the bun recipe when I'm making the garlic ones too, because I don't know, I love me a nice strong garlic bun, and it was good having it on top, and I appreciated that flavor. And again, with the size, it was like, well, I like this, like cutting the muffin top off and only using the muffin top.
Yes, exactly.
But I feel like I could have put maybe a little bit of seasoning throughout, like, and make the whole bun a little bit garlicky.
I think this one would also be really great as a monkey bread that you mentioned earlier, because if you take smaller balls and roll them in garlic herb butter, and then put them to, you know how when you make monkey bread, you coat the balls in
every ball gets
whatever
kind of
cinnamon sugar or whatever it is that you're doing, but you could do it in the garlic herb butter, put them all together, and still brush them afterwards if you wanted to, like
brush them
load
as
it
they
up.
just before you bake them to get that crisp on top.
So when you pull it apart, you've got the garlicky butter all through between them. I
That's
think
not
that
a bad
would be
idea. I'm guessing that you don't want to put the garlic and butter in the pan in case it browns in burns when you're right. Like I wasn't sure
Mm-hmm.
about because I thought like, ooh, maybe I should put some of this garlic butter like right into the pan, but maybe it
Yeah.
would burn on the bottom of the pan while the buns bake just because it'd be too long.
Yeah, maybe.
I'm not sure, but yeah, I think it
Mm.
could be upped in garlic, honestly, but proceed with caution as always.
I mean, you know how much garlic you like when you
Exactly.
cook. So if you love them loaded up with more garlic,
Hmm.
absolutely.
Yeah. Yeah, I liked these.
And it's a good dinner bun
Mm.
recipe.
Yeah.
So if you wanted to do them plain, like Erin did half of them plain for Thanksgiving,
Hmm.
they're a good dinner roll just like that, I'm sure.
Yeah. And they filled up the cast iron pan and were just like above it, not as overflowing
Mm-hmm.
as that first set was. So it seemed like a more appropriate size for the cast iron pan. But I really liked baking them in that. I thought
Yeah.
that was really good. So I think these will be kind of a go-to dinner
Mm.
bun, and they're pretty easy to make.
Yeah. Just have to be patient with the, proofing, waiting for
Yeah.
them to rise.
It's always
Yeah.
that part of bread that makes it a little bit more of a time investment, but I don't find it terrible.
I think, well, it's just planning ahead.
Hmm.
You have to, and that's often my downfall because I forget those
You and me
things.
both.
And then I think, oh, it's like, I've got 3 hours before my dinner guests are coming or whatever. I can whip up some buns. And then it's like, oh, well, I probably actually needed a little more time and I didn't
Possibly
factor that
not.
in. Off to the bakery. Or we're just not having buns today because I didn't plan ahead.
Yeah, exactly. Who knows?
That's what happens to me.
Yeah, I thought these were two really excellent pull apart breads. I think that's a fun way to make bread.
And I think you could use either method, either the buns in the pan or the fold
Hmm.
in a pan for either of these
Totally.
flavors, just depending what you want your end product to be.
Hmm. And monkey bread with them.
Yeah, and monkey bread, which we talked
Because
about. Now I want to make monkey bread.
now that's going to be the next thing I make. That, and I'm also being reminded of your babka, which is another filled yeast
Mm.
bread that is beyond delicious. And now that I've said it, I'm pretty sure I'm going to have to make it.
It's so good and so fun because you braid it into
Yeah, it had,
beautiful patterns that look swirly in either a braid or I don't even know what they
wreath
call them, the wreath.
almost.
Yeah, like
Yeah.
just, or just use the babka dough and put it together however you want. If that's too much work, the dough is so good.
Hmm. Hmm. Yeah, that was really good. So good options if you want bread and
Zhuzhed bread, zhuzhed up.
exactly. All right. Well, I think we've put that together for our pull apart breads.
Nice.
And now for the fine print. For links to recipes and many other random things we talked about in this episode, check out the show notes or our website, www.threekitchenspodcast.com. Join us over on Instagram, Facebook, Threads, YouTube, and TikTok to see what we're cooking up next. And if you love the show, tell a friend. Word of mouth is the #1 way people learn about new podcasts. Thank you so much for listening. Wow, Heather's on the segues today. Look at her go. She's like,
Right.